Hello everyone. Before we dive into today's unbelievable story, I just want to say, your support means the world to us. If you enjoy these real-life jaw-droppers, please hit subscribe and tap the notification bell so we can keep bringing you more powerful content. Now, let's get into it. I'm Elena Carter. I'm 38 now, and for the first time in my life, I'm finally living authentically. This is the story of how a lifetime of being overlooked by my family ended in one explosive Thanksgiving dinner, and how that day revealed the truth they never saw coming. Growing up, I was invisible. When I was 8, my sister Rachel was born premature. That night, my Aunt Kelly woke me up at 2 a.m. to say Mom was in the hospital. From then on, everything changed. Rachel came home hooked to machines, and our house transformed into a germ-free fortress. My mom installed hand sanitizer stations in every room, and the smell of bleach became the background scent of my childhood. But here's the thing, whenever I so much as sneezed, I was immediately shipped off to Grandma Marie's or Aunt Kelly's house, treated like a walking disease instead of a daughter. At first, I thought it was a fun adventure. But kids are smart. Eventually, I realized I wasn't being protected. I was being excluded. Nothing I did was ever enough. Straight A's. Barely acknowledged. First place in the science fair. Dismissed because Rachel was allergic to cardboard. I once taught myself bridge over troubled water on piano for the school talent show. But when Rachel had a 99.1-degree fever that night, no one came. 2 weeks later, the entire family showed up for her 5-minute hot cross buns flute recital. Rachel learned quickly how to work the system. Even after outgrowing her medical issues, she faked illness, manipulated test deadlines, and Mom always shielded her. I, on the other hand, was left alone with my books, and my pain. But if you're not seen, no one watches your failures either. So I became unstoppable. Debate team. National Honor Society. President of the school newspaper. Perfect SAT score. Multiple Ivy League acceptances. All without my parents knowing, because they were too busy cheering on Rachel's JV cheerleading team. When I finally told them I was going to the University of Michigan on a full scholarship, their reaction. Greater than, but that's so far. What if Rachel needs you? They couldn't even drive me to move-in day. Aunt Kelly did. She also gave me an envelope from Grandma Marie, $500 saved from her Social Security checks. It was the only moment of pride anyone in my family ever showed for me. College was freedom. I graduated summa cum laude and got a job at Everett and Phillips Auction House, where I cataloged estate jewelry. Most of my coworkers dismissed it as boring work, but my childhood organizing Grandma's costume jewelry taught me how to recognize real value. And I did. An Art Deco brooch misidentified as costume jewelry. Sold for $47,000. That opened the door. My boss began trusting me. I dove headfirst into gemology, vintage hallmarks, French jeweler signatures, everything. I built up a reputation, and soon I was authenticating million-dollar pieces. Then came the Rothschild collection. One overlooked piece. I discovered it was from a famous French jeweler, lost during World War II. It sold for $238,000. That was my turning point. My boss told me I was wasting my talent. So, I took the leap. I started my own business. I emptied my savings, maxed out my credit card, and rented a tiny office above a Chinese restaurant that smelled like Kung Pao chicken and barely had Wi-Fi. But it was mine. The early days were hard. I worked non-stop. I ate noodles. I furnished the office with curbside furniture. And then, breakthrough. I authenticated a Victorian-era collection and earned an $86,000 commission. My name started spreading. Collectors came to me directly. Lawyers, museums, even my old auction house sent clients my way. I hired a brilliant young gemologist, Jenny. We expanded into Chicago, then New York. All while my family still thought I worked at a dusty antique shop. Every Sunday, I sat through dinners where Rachel bragged about her $200 Michael Kors watch while I wore a vintage Patek Philippe worth more than her car. I funded their mortgage through anonymous transfers, $7,000 a month. They thought I was eating ramen. I was running a multi-million-dollar empire. Then came Thanksgiving. Mom had a herniated disc and begged off cooking. I offered to cater everything. She panicked, "Don't take out a loan." I reassured her. She didn't know I'd hired a luxury catering firm I use for business clients. The food, Michelin star level. Rachel mocked the stuffing, but once she tasted it, she shut up. That's when it happened. I stepped away to monitor a $1.2 million Hong Kong auction. My laptop was open in my old room. Rachel barged in without knocking, still thinking I was some joke of a sister. She grabbed my laptop to expose me at dinner. She burst into the dining room and flipped the screen around. And then silence. Displayed. Account balance, $12.4 million. Pending contract, $485,000. Quarterly profit, $4.2 million. Recent transaction, $1.2 million. Rachel whispered, this can't be right. Then out loud, "She's rich. Elena is rich." The room froze. Mom laughed, "Don't be silly, Elena works at that little antique shop." I stood up, calmly. "Greater than, actually, Mom, I own one of the largest jewelry authentication companies in the country." Everyone went silent. Then came the screaming. "Greater than, you let us struggle. Your sister has loans. We raised you. You owe us." That's when I finally exploded. "Greater than, you raised me. You sent me away every time I got sick. You missed every graduation, every award, every moment, because Rachel might feel left out." I left, took my Hermes bag, which Mom thought was a knockoff, and drove off in my limited edition BMW. My phone exploded with calls and texts. Facebook lit up with Rachel's rant about how I was hoarding family wealth. My parents demanded trust funds, beach houses, and MBA tuitions for Rachel. They even showed up at my office pretending to be clients. I canceled the monthly transfers. Had them blacklisted from my building. Mom called Grandma Marie. Her response, "Greater than, good for Elena. About time someone in this family succeeded on their own terms." That was 6 months ago. I moved homes, got better security, blocked them all. My company is thriving. High-profile clients now respect my discretion more than ever. Rachel tried starting her own authentication business. Good luck, sis. That Cartier bracelet in your latest Instagram post. Definitely fake. And as for me, for the first time in my life, I'm free. Free from the shame, the erasure, the guilt. No more Sunday dinners. No more family gaslighting. No more Rachel show. Just me, Elena Carter. Businesswoman. Survivor. Self-made. If this story resonated with you, let us know in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe for more powerful real-life stories like this one. You never know what secrets someone at your Thanksgiving table might be hiding.